So we call ourselves expats with cats because we are expats and brought our two cats.
Very good.
I'm just kidding.
Good.
All right. We brought our two cats with us, Linus and Luna, to Bangkok, and that was actually one of the biggest challenges that we had to face with moving to another country. We actually went back and forth about should we bring them, should we not. I was obviously on the side of wanting to bring them, and Tom was kind of
being budget friendly.
yeah, but he loves them too, don't worry. But it was very challenging considering that there's a lot that goes into it. You want to
Yeah, we were almost expats without cats because it seemed like an absolute impossibility.
Yeah.
It just seemed like something that could not happen. And I remember being very negative and doubtful about the situation and just looking into it over and over and over. And I actually remember talking to my friend Melissa. I had said something to her about it, and she just said, "You could figure it out. Just get online, and you're not the first people to actually do that." So we went online, and it took a ton of research. It added such an extra layer of research to what we needed to do, because not only did we need to figure out how to minimize our situations, figure out how to move and come up with the money to do it, and just all these different problems that kind of come into play. Now there's two living creatures that we have to make sure that not only get to the destination, but get there safely, because we had to figure out, an airline that wasn't just going to throw them in the belly of a plane where they're, not going to eat or anything like that. So one of the most difficult things was the timetable. There was a big error on my part in figuring out the timetable with the USDA requirements and the vet certifications. So the cats had to get their shots. I don't particularly remember, but I'll be sure that we link, some of the details below. But I know that they needed.
Shots have to be done at least, I think, 30 days prior to.
I think
right?
21.
Close to, yeah.
It was 21 days. Oh, now I remember. It was 21 days prior to us leaving. They had to have the shots. Then they had to have the vet certificate of health that had to be shipped out to the VA, or not the VA, to the USDA, maybe the VA. Our cats were in Nom. Anyway, so you had to ship out the health certificates to the USDA to get approved, and they had to be done 14 days prior to leaving.
Right.
Now, the office that did that was in Albany, New York, which is about eight and a half hours north of where we live. So we had to overnight it, send it with a return label to get overnighted back to us, and then, God forbid if something happened where they weren't approved for whatever reason, or the doctor filled out paperwork wrong, you had to restart the process.
And it's scary because the deadline is so short. And like he said, you don't know if you're going to get approved or not. So it's like you're sitting there. We already had our flights booked. So we're sitting there what happens if this gets sent back to us and we're not approved and we have to go through this process again, change our flights. It's very...
Yeah. So there were a lot of mistakes that we made that I'm hopeful that you guys won't. I had booked the flight and I had misread the guidelines. I thought that it all could be done 14 days prior to. So then it came time to get our flight get our certificate, and we went to the doctors, and the vet said, no, this has to be 21 days. So I had to end up paying Qatar, get traveler's insurance if you're going to do a move this big, especially with pets for this reason. But I ended up having to move the flight, and I think it cost an extra $350. So that part kind of sucked. I will say all in, it really wasn't as bad as I thought. Obviously, the cats and the certificates, that was a little bit costly. To get the pets, two separate things was $250 seats on the plane. We picked Qatar.
Each. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be together if you're willing to put them in the same cage.
Yeah, you can put them in the same crate.
But Linus would definitely eat the other one, so we didn't want to do that. So we got them two separate things. And then what else was there? Things like pet crates and stuff like that. It really was... It was difficult, but it wasn't impossible. If I hadn't had the oversight that I had in the beginning, I think it would have been a lot smoother. I think that there is a lack of proper resource guide, because one of the things that I noticed with looking up these things was that the USDA had different requirements on their site than the Thai consulate did, and there were different what do I want to say, Thai consulate websites.
Sorry.
Something they don't do in Asia, by the way. They do not bless you if you sneeze. They don't do it at all. But
it's not a thing.
Yeah. So different consulate websites had different information, which was a little misleading. So But overall, I'd say if you're looking to move with your pets, it is something that's doable. I do recommend Qatar. They took great care of our pets, and
They're awesome. They're an awesome airline.
yeah, it was like being on a cruise. We were so fearful of like the 23-hour plane ride and what is that going to be like. And I remember that when we first got to our first layover destination in Doha, it was about 15 or 16 hours into our flight.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction was, I don't want to get off yet. I want to stay on and keep watching movies and stuff like
so
that.
Comfortable. That was one thing that was a little scary for us though, because we initially were supposed to see the cats during our layover in Doha. And so we get off the flight and we're trying to find somebody to ask, like, where do we go to see the cats? And when you finally found somebody, they were just like, no, you won't see them until you
get on the plane and they'll be there, was pretty much it.
Like they'll be there. They'll be on the plane. And we're just like, okay, well, I guess they're fine, we hope.
Yeah, we got there and we didn't know what to expect at all. We sat in the immigration line. We had gone up to... we got through immigration, and they told us that the cats would come out of with all the luggage.
Bangkok.
Yeah, once in Bangkok, it would come out on the conveyor belt with all the luggage, and that wasn't the case. We sat there, we were freaking out because they weren't coming out. They were in oversized, luggage, and then we had to go and go over there and get them, and then we had to take them from there. You have to take them with the health certificates to get there's some kind of animal control or something like that right in the airport. Just go in there with your paperwork, you pay money there, they sign it, you're good. Then you go through customs, and then the cats get their own pet passport, their own kind of stamp, and then we don't have to pay for them to come back. So let's say if we left, it's a one-time fee. So if we leave Thailand and we take them to another country and want to bring them back into Thailand, we don't have to pay that fee. We will, however, have to go through the whole inspection process and stuff like that again. So it is a little bit of an added expense, but I think in the end, it was worth it, and obviously she feels that way.
We both do.
No, I don't.